Hi, this is Greg in Pensacola, Florida. I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Tonight is episode 4 of Made with my MakerGear. I've got a whole bunch of stuff on the table to show you, but I figure I'd take a quick 5 minutes, let you know what's been going on for the last month, and let you know what's coming forward for the next month or two as we hit the summertime. About a month ago, as I was taking off for a War Machine tournament, so when we went down to Orlando, we spent some time down there with the Orlando, Tampa, Miami guys. Had a great time. Awesome tournament. Played some high-quality games of War Machine. Didn't win anything, but I didn't expect to going down there because the competition level is absolutely incredible. But it's a really good tournament to go to just to kind of get a measure of where you're at. Came back from that. Had a local War Machine tournament here, and I won that. So I must have been doing something right down there because I ended up winning up here the following weekend. And it was also moving into finals time at school. If you watch some of my previous videos, you've seen I've been taking an engineering graphics class. So I had a 18 drawing portfolio that I needed to submit, and a final because I was going to be out of town when the final happened. So she gave me that early so I could do the 2 drawings for the final and turn those in. Well, doing the 18 drawings wasn't too bad. Printing them out in the exact format that they needed in that portfolio was probably as bad as doing the drawings themselves. But we got that done. We got the turned in. We got the 2 drawings for the final turned in. So that class is done and out of the way, and I don't have any class over the summer. They don't teach any of the engineering classes I'm looking at right now over the summer. So get some more time to devote to some hobbies, some gaming, some videos, some things like that. And then finally I did travel. Where I work, sent me to Atlanta. We had a users group conference, and I get to meet with the developer of the software that we use, go over new features, things we'd like to see, stuff like that. So I spent 4 days up there. Back in town, got to move my daughter home from Florida State here this weekend. So it's a busy weekend, but excited to be back in front of the camera. I have a ton of stuff down in front of me. So I might not have been recording, but I've been printing like mad. We've got some more printablescenery.com. We've got the evolution of the dice box. We've got 15mm terrain for Flames of War or Team Yankee. I've got more dungeon tiles from Dragonlock. I've got this Wyloch. I'm going to double check that when I cut through here. Wyloch's dungeon terrain. I've got some more dwarves that we made. I didn't make a big one, but I do have a couple of the smaller ones. And just a bunch of dungeon pieces. And I also got made some upgrade parts for my other printer, the one that I won in the subscriber contest. So I've got all those printed out. Those are ready to get installed, and I'm going to start. Now I've got some time to really start messing with that printer. So give me just a minute. I'll redo the table down here. We'll get the camera pointed down at it, and we'll start looking at some stuff on this table. Be right back. Okay, I've got the camera zoomed down at the table. I'm going to try and work in this window area here so you can get kind of a decent picture of the stuff. So I'll be moving items out of the frame and then start pushing stuff into the frame so you can see the rest of the stuff that we printed. So like I said, over the past month I've been traveling around, but when I've been back in town, between working on class and other stuff on there, I've been printing like crazy. So the first thing I wanted to show you is that Wargaming miniature showcase. Oops. They put out another one of their dwarves, and if you remember, this is the same group of guys that I print my monster dwarfs from. So this is what the model, is supposed to look like on the table, and I just scale it up. So I need to print a couple of these out, to add to the collection that I've got. So I printed those out, and I'll put a link in the show notes. Everything here I'll put a link in the show notes to the people. So Miniature Wargaming Showcase, they have a YouTube channel. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. The guy does really good work. And I'm hoping he keeps putting more stuff out, and follow him on Thingiverse too. That way you can see his new models. The next one I'm going to talk about is a guy named Curufin, and he is on Thingiverse. So it's Curufin, and I'll definitely put a link to some of the items that I'm going to show here. So the first thing I'm going to show is the 28mm bar back and accessories. So that's what this is right here. So these are accessories for your dungeon, so you can put them down and make some items for your terrain. Her start, she can do some of this stuff, but this is nice. You can print these out all in one shot. They're a solid piece. I did about 10% infill. I usually do 10% infill on all my items unless I'm specifically doing something that needs to be stronger than that. So these came out really nice. And like I said, I'll put a link in the show notes. So move them off to the side. He's got a barrel on here also. Seems like everybody's doing the barrels nowadays. So he's got some barrels. Dragonlock's got barrels. This is the barrel holder. Not too many of the other ones have this though. So that's pretty good with that larger barrel and another plank board, so you can use that for what you want. Then this piece of glass right here is the actual bar itself. So I just left this on the build plate. I printed this recently on here. So here's your what's going to go on the bottom, and you got your angled pieces so that you can make, it doesn't have to be straight across. It can actually come off a wall and come around, in an L shape or a horseshoe shape like that. It's got the panels that'll go on the front, right here, and then it's got your wood for the top. And so those barrels, the small barrels will fit right on top of there. Hearst Arts also has a ton of accessories that could fit on top of this also. So here's where you can use some of your 3D printed stuff and some of your Hearst Arts stuff and mix those together. The filament for this is the MatterHackers PLA Pro that they sell. I'm having really good luck with this. I'm working my way through the second spool of it that I won. And so I got 2 spools of gray and 1 spool of blue, and the gray is printed nice. I haven't had any problems with the filament, and it hasn't broke, it hasn't cracked, or anything like that. So I'll do when I actually finish using these spools, I'll pull everything together that I still have that I printed from it, and we'll do an actual review, what I think, about the filament itself. So this right here, Curufin did this. This is a 28mm bar with accessories on there. And to keep going with Curufin, I'll put a link to the video because a friend of mine, he is sold on these 1.5-inch tile system that somebody named Wyloch came up with. And so they got a project going, and they're starting to do these dungeon tiles. So they have these low height walls, and these tiles here are like 1.5 inches apart. And the reason is that these are 1/4 inch walls on each side, so it allows your large base figures to actually fit correctly and space correctly when laid out in a dungeon. And so this right here, I believe, is what is going to be their core set. A friend of mine over in Crestview, he's kind of into project with them, and I got permission to print these for him. So that's what he's getting here is, sample prints of this core set. But this is really nice. I mean, he did great work on the bar back. He's doing really great work on this. At first, I think this was going to be released under Creative Commons, but I think now they're trying to go a commercial route. So I'm going to try and get some more info. I'd like to get some more pieces and actually do a dedicated review of putting these together. Yeah, he did a really nice clip system with this. And actually putting it on the table and putting it next to the Dragonlock so you can see for yourself, do you like this format better or do you like the Dragonlock format better? But this is pretty nice. So when I get some more details from him, I'll see maybe I can coordinate with him, get a few more files, and actually lay something out here on the table for you to see. So, and then I'll go into greater detail about the design process that they're using and how the things lay out with examples. So, but again, this is Curufin stuff. I don't have a link to this. I'll see if I can get one. We'll do an actual proper review of his dungeon tiles. Next thing, Dragonlock. We'll go right into that. The Dragonlock accessories, tomb accessories came out. So what we got here is that, we got the coffin with the lid, and again, this is all printed onto MakerGear. It's all printed at 0.2mm, 10% infill, with the MatterHacker PLA Pro silver filament right there. The crate, this is a pretty nice crate. I like this. This has got it's got decent wood texture on it, so it's got a nice deep wood texture. Then it's got a crate with a removable lid. So right here, we can take the lid off on this one. You could put something in it. They got a chest. It's actually a really nice chest. If you play Frostgrave, I know they use chests and stuff like that. I was going to cast a bunch of smaller chests from the Hearth Starts, but I'm kind of sold on this chest for throwing it out, throwing it in a box, you know, for some wargaming train. It's a little bit beefier than the Hearth Starts one, but this was nice. You don't see too many of these. I mean, this is a treasure chest. I don't know why more people don't make those. We got the spike trap. Someday I'll learn how to do this on camera. So right there, you've got it's a 5x5, so you got 25 spikes on there. That was an interesting print. If you see the MakerGear, pulled it off with no problems, pulling that nice point up on there. And we got a barrel, and then this is actually 2 pieces. This top just fits right up on here. This is an altar, so it prints in 2 pieces, and then you just snap. This just press fits together on top. And I'm making a mess because I got a huge piece under my arm right there. All right. So we got we got a trap door right here that we can put into this tile. So that piece sits right in there like that. If you look at the wood grain on that piece, that is a fantastic looking piece, you know, and it's clean on the bottom. So, you know, when you look, this was a big difference between when I printed this one and doing a couple test prints off the Wanhao. You can see some of the differences underneath. Now the Wanhao, I still, like I said, I just threw a couple test prints in there. Nothing's dialed in, and we'll work on that later. But this video here is for the MakerGear. So again, this is your well, yeah. And then they made it so this piece was off it itself. And then this right here is a false floor, I guess. Not really sure what this piece is for. I'm not sure if this piece is supposed to go on here, if you've got a raised platform, but they're just giving you a textured floor tile because it doesn't have the clips. So it's like it's going to sit on top of something, you know, and they make platforms in the Dragonlock so you can do multi-level on there. So that's what I think it's for. I need to read a little bit about it, but I'm just printing one off right now. The video's on there. Oh, and then, yeah, this is pretty nice. This prints is 3 pieces. So you got the piece across the top, you've got the floor and the sides, and then you've got the actual barred cage that slides right down in there. So that's a sweet piece. Yeah, definitely will print some more of that. So let me get this stuff out of the way. All right, next thing. Just starting to play a game called Team Yankee. And this is I mentioned it before in one of the other videos. This is made by Battlefront. It is your World War III, you know, 1985-ish era. You know, the Soviet Union invades NATO, basically is what it is. A war breaks out there. So it's your M1 Abrams, it's your T-72s and stuff like that. So what you need is terrain on there. And let me find this guy's thing really quick. Okay, back to the Team Yankee stuff. Battlefront Miniatures makes it. It's 15 millimeter World War III. So, like I said before, Soviet Union and NATO get into a fight. Right now you have Soviet war assets and you have American war assets out there. So the next thing you need is you need to fill up a table of terrain. You know, I've got the 4x8 table out there. You can play this on a 4x6, a 4x4, or 4x8. So we played on a 4x8 just to keep it pretty big and the scenarios going. But terrain is expensive. Anybody out there that's a wargamer, if you've never wargamed before, terrain really can cost a lot of money. And the 3D printer, this is golden for fixing that problem right there. So what you're looking at here, these are 15 millimeter oil storage tanks. And what you do is you place these on the table as terrain and they block line of sight. Let me grab a tank real quick. Yeah, so this is a 15 millimeter T-72. Let me pull that turret off because it pops off. It's not painted because we're just starting to play the game, so I just started building this stuff right here. But this is meant to sit right down in here, so can you see that? You probably can't see that. Let me move this one a little bit. So it'll sit right down in there. Now you've got some obstruction terrain, but I'm sure no one wants to get the oil tanker shot with your tank in between the middle of it, but it gives you an idea. Battlefront makes official terrain. They make oil storage tanks just like this, except they're they're the same scale and same size. They're 4 inches tall. They cost $29 for 2, so $14.50 each. You can print each one of these right here, and they're hollow inside, and they got a hole on the bottom, so it's, the design on this was very well done as not to waste any filament. You can print this for about $1.20 worth of filament, if that. And this, this filament here is my older, this is the eSun silver. This is the PLA Plus silver on there. So $1.20 filament cost for each one of these. Tops. Maybe $1. Call it $1 on there. So I have 3 of them right now. It's $29 for 2. That's what MSRP is for 2. And Battlefront has a online price policy that you cannot take more than 10 or 12% off the MSRP. So looking at a place like Miniature Market, it's $26.10 for 2 of these oil tanks. I've got mine for $3 on them. So huge savings right there. If you're a miniature wargamer and you're thinking about terrain and stuff like that, this all came off Thingiverse. This was made by, this is by our boss, and he did these in 2014. When I say something's on Thingiverse, you can go and download this model just like I did. And so he did these oil platforms. He did these houses right here. So these are 15mm houses. So if you look, they're all sectional. So if I want a 2-layer house, I can print a 2-layer house, a 2-story house with the roof. The roofs are interchangeable. I should be able to take this roof and put it over here if I like that design better. Right now, there's like 4 or 5 different designs out. It all comes down to one file. There's a lot of stuff in that one file. And so I just printed out 4 real quick to get them on the table. But these are beautiful pieces. I mean, this came out of your printer. This is on the MakerGear. This is 0.2 resolution. Yeah, I do print with support on this part right here underneath. So I have support lines right there. But this is the inside of that second layer, the windows on the outside. And then the ground floor, he's got a different texture on the ground floor, is like that. So these are really nice. He did a great job with these. I'm actually going to try and contact him and see if he has any thoughts about doing some ruined versions of these. But if you see this one, you see the different texture on the house, on the roof, I mean. And then this floor is just completely flat inside, like that, but dirt cheap. So, price comparison. Look over here at Miniature Market. A factory. So basically this right here is about the same size as the factory that you get in the box. So it's 2 stories with a flat roof. So this actually has a higher roof than the factory does. MSRP on the factory, $50. Cost to print this, $2.50. You tell me. Justifying that 3D printer, you can do it all day long right here if you're just printing terrain for your war games, terrain for your RPGs and things like that. So if you don't even get out of the, mechanical design or some wild thing, if you just grab this stuff, and all this stuff is available to you. I didn't make any of this. I just went and downloaded it on there. Like I said, I'm going to put links to the to the people that did it, so that you can go and follow these creators too, because they're doing. I mean, this is really good work. This saves huge amount of money, because what you do, instead of spending all that money on buildings, you can actually go spend money on their models. And, you know, so this, you know, instead of spending money on that, I can go spend money on these. You know, and I'd rather put my money here and actually have something on the game table than buying a whole bunch of houses. Yes, you got to paint these, you know, but, you know, that's not a problem either. The dark silver is the MatterHackers PLA Pro, and this one right here is the eSun eSun PLA Pro that I was using up. So let me get these out of the way.